A sweet little chocolate little cup, but he is very timid. We need our strong man, right? We need you to lead. I feel bad because I do like Christian.
What's wrong with this Christian? The cute one right here.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Whoa. That went wrong. Let's do that again. Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Now, slightly better. We could do better, but you don't know what it is. Let's move on. Listen, we are giving you guys a review of who? Christian. Yes. Funny enough, we had our live. We did last week, last Saturday, and I told you straight. I said, listen, Christian's it's going to be out quick because, to be honest, he didn't look like he was confident. And when you're not confident, it's not attractive to this particular competition. I want you to understand it is a competition. And so therefore, the strongest will survive and the weakest will die. It's that simple. Life is also a competition, but it's slightly played differently. And the field is much larger. So unfortunately, he got into a situation where he looked unassertive, unconfident, and looked like the cub rather than the lion that was fully grown. And so we want to break down some of the stuff on the body language that he showed in the actual show that will contribute towards why I thought it was a right decision to let Christian go at first. So if you are new to the channel, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for more great content like this that will be coming out, and make sure you as well click on the bell button for the notifications. You know what I'm saying? Notification uploads, baby. And for those of you who are returnees, well, you got the minerals, you got the minerals, you got the minerals. Yeah. Reload it. Stay hydrated. Let's stay hydrated, baby. Listen, grab your waters, guys. Okay, here, grab your waters, okay? Grab your water. All right, cool. Let's talk about staying in the lane and staying in the paint and talk about Christian. So I want to bring my very first clip, okay? I'm going to go continue this clip on further a little bit more and just kind of just pinpoint this.
No,
He's very handsome.
Yeah.
You just got to be more
Aggressive.
with
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, which people don't realize, okay? The very first thing they mentioned was that Chris actually is really cute. He's nice looking. He is, a good looking chap. He's not a bad looking chap, and they can see that, right? So there's attraction there. But attraction isn't just how good you look, it's what you carry. It's the artillery, the arsenal, the weaponry. And unfortunately, a lot of his weaponry is weak. And what I mean weak, in the sense of how do you carry yourself? How do you move? How do you say certain things? You see, certain guys can get away with certain things because of their demeanor, their character, the way that they actually do life, and they can get away with saying certain things, and other guys can't. Why? Simply, sometimes it's not because just they're good looking. It's simply because of the way that they move, and they move in a certain way that has an air of confidence, sometimes even a touch of arrogance that gives them this spark and this energy that draws women especially to them. Unfortunately, what you heard exactly there from Stacey was, I needed a bit more assertiveness from him, right? And here's the reason why. Two things. The Bible lets us know in Genesis 3 that the woman will try to rule the husband, but the husband will rule thee. Let me say it again. Genesis 3, one of the punishments, after the punishment was given to man and to woman, he said the woman will try to what? Will try to rule the husband, or try to control the husband even, right? But the husband will rule thee, and the wife will pine after her husband, okay? And so from that day, the very nature of woman is to test boundaries. And when they find a man whose boundaries are not strong, they find it unattractive. And each woman has their own level of testing a boundary according to their own level. I know some women are going to be in here saying, that's not me. Trust me, daddy. I'm not saying that you literally go out there and test your brother. I'm saying you put out certain feelers out there, okay? Certain little tests out there to see the brother's boundaries, right? And when a woman feels like they can get away with too much, in relation to you, right? If they feel they can get away with too much, what happens is that they then turn off from you. Because if they don't turn off from you, the other aspect of their nature is they were going to control you. Then it falls into manipulation. So women oftentimes who are good women will avoid you because they see that you can't handle them. You do not have the artillery, nor the weaponry, nor the bass in the voice to be able to tell them this behavior is unacceptable, and this is how we're going to do things, or this is how we're going to progress forward, or this is how I see things. And so actually, in a sense, they don't respect you. This is the truth. They can like you and not respect you as a man. I know it doesn't sound good because of the words I'm using. Can I be honest? They see Christian as a good guy, but do not respect his manhood enough to want to date him because their womanhood would play him. I'm just going to keep it 100% real, okay? And so because he has these light boundaries with them, they are seeing how they will not feel safe. It is just simply a little bit of biology, a little bit of how humans interact. No beef with the woman, no beef with the man. It's just that he needs to get some backbone. Because the women are looking at it like, I could run you into the ground. I can do this and that to you. And actually that speaks to a lot of women too, that they aren't able to control certain parts of their nature. That's why they see him as an easy target and it's not attractive. It's no beef. It's just the biology. Do you know what I'm saying? It's no beef. It's just a biology. Find a woman on your levels, man, them. Okay? Find women on your levels, because all women are going to test you, right? All women are going to test. They're going to test the boundaries, right? As Christians, we are called the bride of Christ, and what do? We test boundaries. How far can we go when it's with a girl? Like, can we kiss? Are we not allowed to kiss? Everybody tests boundaries. When you know what I'm saying? So don't expect women not to test boundaries. They're going to. It might not be overt. It might not be so blatant as you know, actually go and test you. But again, they're in their subconscious behaviors. There are certain things they are looking for to make them feel safe, because it's about their safety. It's about their safety, and they want to feel safe. And this is the trouble with having more power. The more influence you have in a society as a woman, the more you're looking for a man to have a greater influence to be able to keep you safe in that pen. Because women are looking for a man to lead. So you're looking for a man, that's why you don't normally date up, right? They're looking for a man who has more power, more status, and more wealth, because that keeps them safe in the society, right? Biologically speaking, it keeps them safe, right? And so it's a natural byproduct of the society we live in. But I want to go back to some earlier points here before we continue that particular progression of conversation. And I want to go to this particular point here, right? This little point here where
my God, today.
After this, guys, sorry.
I am very happy and excited right now.
Okay, here we go.
The first thing I noticed was that your ankles were moisturized, and I was like, a man after my own heart.
Really? Me?
Pause. Okay, look. First thing, oh man, it's mad. Look what happens. Okay, look, I know it's gonna be peak, right? But let me break this down. And hopefully, if Christian watches this, there's no beef. I just analyze a particular behavior, right? And I'm sure I've got some behaviors that if people analyze will do the exact same thing. Notice here, right, when she compliments him. Let's go slightly back. Okay, let's go slightly back. All right, just slightly back.
The first thing I noticed was.
Pause. Okay, now look what Ida's done. Remember, I told you about people's interactions. Ida. Like males, when they're liking someone, often step in and close the space. Males often do this because when they're trying to show you that they're attracted to you, and women too will step in when they feel that they're feeling attracted to you as well. All right, and then when both people are doing it, it's a mutual interest. Now look what happens here. Ida steps forward, and look what he's going to do. So look what she's going to do. Look what he's going to do. Watch what he's going to do.
That your ankles were moisturized, and I was like, a man after my own heart.
Really?
Boom. What does he do? That's what I'm saying because of copyright. What does he do instantly? He steps backwards. See, it's subconscious. It's not conscious. He's not thinking, if I step backwards, it's going to be like, no, he's thinking in his head, I just took a compliment. Really? I really appreciate that. Right? But what he didn't realize is actually this is his natural inclination when it comes to the space thing. Look, the moment he stepped back, he said, really? He took a compliment and stepped back. That showed me that he couldn't maintain the frame. He couldn't maintain the stance, right? And this speaks to confidence. This speaks to confidence. Really? You know, like really? Like what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it speaks to the confidence. And so when he, and secondly as well, when he said really, and, you know, he's like, almost like he didn't know, all right, as well, you know, that again speaks to, like, because men are quote unquote always told to be, they should be self-aware in some instance, right? So if you're a good looking guy, you're not fishing for compliments, whereas a woman's allowed to fish for compliments. She's allowed to have compliments coming her way. But as a man, it's like if a compliment comes your way, the masculine thing to do is be like, yeah, I appreciate that, man, thank you. Maintain the form. Yeah, I appreciate that, man, because love for that, man. Now, obviously, if a woman says that, you're not going to do love for that, but do you know what I'm saying? You go, oh, thank you, I appreciate that, man, I appreciate that. But he went really, like, he was mad surprised. So it's like, again, like, we're talking about confidence and talking about self-awareness. Unfortunately, in that particular instance, he didn't show it in that respect. And I think that's a natural inclination of him. Again, it speaks to how does he value himself, in the sense of how does he see himself in this competition? How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a valuable player? Right? It's going to come out in the behaviors. I know it sounds mad. Let me show you another clip, another instance of this, right?
Eye for detail. My name is.
And he said, really, me? He didn't believe it. What, me? Listen, that doesn't inspire confidence. You know what I'm saying? You just got to be like, listen, thank you. I appreciate that. Right? So that's important, okay? But he looked sharp, though. I'm not going to lie to you. He looked real good. I like what he was wearing. His sharpness on point. Okay, cool. Let's go to this particular clip here. Okay, this is where he gets caught out, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay, I have to go back here. Okay, cool. This is where he gets caught out. He has a conversation with Diedrich and Tressa, and I want you to pay attention to what happens to him when he's talking to Diedrich and Tressa. Just pay attention to what happens. Okay.
We can go join other people. It don't matter. I'm good.
You know.
Chris, man.
Diedrich, man.
Cool. Pause here. He's gone for the handshake. Said, yep. Diedrich, Chris. He's gone for Chris. All right? He's gone for Chris. And I'm going to tell you why he's going to change. He's going to do what he's going to do. I'm going to tell you why in a second. But he's gone for Chris in the beginning. It's very conscious, but it's unconscious. Very conscious, but unconscious. Pay attention now. Look. Okay, cool.
Nice to meet you, brother.
How you doing?
Tressa.
Christian, nice to meet you.
Boom. Now look at this. He goes from Chris to Christian. Why? Because he has, I won't even say representative. I want to say that when it comes to dealing with men, he's more comfortable to go with a Chris. He tried to put on a professional frame when it comes to the women. Right? Because they really broke what do you call it? Proper pros by, doing a handshake and then doing a hand behind the back, and that breaks the whole formally gentlemanly kind of I call it white folk gentlemanly behavior, where you shake hands and you know what I'm saying? Like, as black folk, we know we don't do that, right? But in business, you might be doing a thank you very much. That's the handshake, right? That's the Western civilization type of way of doing things. Okay, but then when he gets to Tressa, he actually gives her the professional handshake. That's why he came with the Christian name, because he's seeing two different things. When he's dealing with men, he's comfortable. I can be me. I can be one of the lads and one of the guys. Cool. When it comes to the women, my target is women, but I've got to try and put on a certain persona. Not a bad one. I just got to put on a persona, because with the guys, I can be myself, be cool. I can let myself go. But with the women, I've got to show this confidence. I've got to show it. And it becomes conscious rather than actually just flowing from you. And so he changes his name. Listen, and Tressa picks it up. Listen.
Meet you. Oh, you said Chris to him, but you said Christian to me, so.
Boom. Now she's got him. Look what he does. Look what he does. Listen, it's so peak. Oh, the poor boy, Christian, so peak. It's subconscious. She puts him on smoke. She puts him on smoke by saying, you said Chris to him, but you said Christian to me, right? And the first thing he does is, he looks to the side. He looks to pass on, because this is about confidence, right? He looks to go, right? But someone who's confident would have been like, yeah, do you know what? My bad. Like, it's a thing that I have to work on, maybe. Or he might say, listen, yeah, because obviously when I'm talking to the man, then I put the Chris there. But for you ladies, you got to get the full experience of the Christian. He could have said something a bit funny, a bit like, something a bit slick, right? But he hasn't got that practice. He hasn't got that confidence in him. So when someone puts you on the spot, how do you respond? Pressure. How do you deal with stress and pressure? The first thing he did was switch to the other man in the equation. And the other guy was like, hands in pocket, like, this got nothing to do with me, bro. Like, you the one that said it. I don't know what you're saying about, right? But the mere fact Tressa even picked it up is interesting, right? A lot of women might not have said anything. They might have just picked it up but not said anything. But the mere fact Tressa picked it up and exposed it was almost, again, a challenge to him. I'm not saying that she wanted to bash him or anything. No. But she picked it up to say, why are you creating a difference between myself and Diedrich? And let me tell you something. Look, that also is homie vibes. Tressa, no beef. No beef, Tressa. I've got no beef with Tressa. I like Tressa. Full-figured woman, classy, funny, girl-looking tick. But when she picked the mere fact, a lot of women would have picked it up and not said anything, right? And not said anything. They might have made a mental note, wouldn't have said nothing. But Tressa decided to say something, almost like how guys do. Because if a guy was to like see, okay, you said Chris to him, but you said Christian to me, bro. Why you do that for, right? Because it's like, okay, if we're boys, like, oh, we're cool guys. Guys want to have competition. I want to see myself as an equal. So if there's an indifference created, mandem can have a problem, right? It's very rare that man are gonna switch on man because he calls himself Chris and Christian. They're not gonna say nothing, right? But the mere fact she picked up on it is what I would say is it creates a homie vibe, because it's like that's a male thing to do. Pick up on the name change. Why would you pick up on that? As a woman, you wouldn't normally pick up on it and say you wouldn't normally say something. Sorry, right? You would normally just leave it. Like, okay, he called me Chris. He said Christian to me, but he said Christian. Let me keep my eye on this boy. But she said it out loud. She called him out. Right? And that's, again, calling them out as well like that. Listen, when it's not even a calling out particular thing, it's a masculine thing to do. Just no beef. Again, we're just talking about how people's behaviors are, right? Look at Diedrich. Look at his position, Diedrich. He's not even involved. And you're trying to bargain with Diedrich, Christian, but Christian, he isn't the one you need to bargain with. And Tressa's picked it up and like, why are you trying to bargain with him? Like, you are talking to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that instantly put him on pressure. The boy is sweating. Let me stay hydrated. The boy is sweating. Let me stay hydrated. The boy is sweating. Okay? And these things are little things, but they are seen by other women through their body language. People are always watching you and observing body language, even if they don't know it. So what's Tressa?
You prefer Christian?
Yeah.
All right.
So then she restarts again. Look, with the handshake. Look, bruv, listen, I was saying, she restarts it with the handshake and goes, okay, what do you prefer to be called? Chris or Christian? Right? She actually didn't just reset. She actually put herself above him. No beef. Like, again, in terms of now, because remember, as a masculine man, you want the feminine and masculine energy dance, right? As a masculine, you want the feminine to submit to the masculine, and the masculine is going to give, and the feminine is going to receive, right? In this particular instance, he literally submitted himself to the feminine energy, or we're going to say the more masculine energy in this particular instance that's being presented on this particular format. Not saying Tressa is masculine. I'm letting you know that what was presented as energy, she could have let him go. She could have let him go. There was no need for her to say anything. But the masculine energy that she might have carried decided to say something at that point in time. And so now she then led it again. What do you want to be called by? She now led the proceeding. What do you want to be called by? And reset the whole thing. And now he's starting from below zero with Tressa. He's below zero right now with Tressa. And the handshake, right? The little handshake. Boom.
My bad. My name is Christian. I'm 36, and I'm your favorite mailman. Smiling is just something that I do. It's natural for me. I love to give someone a good smile and make them feel warm.
Now, he generally is a nice guy. He generally is a nice guy, Christian. There's nothing bad about him in the sense of he's got no bad. It doesn't seem like he's got a bad bone in his body, but he's just not got the stature. And I'm not talking about height. I'm talking about he hasn't got the mental stature that makes him stand there and stand out. At the moment, he's blended in and crumbling at certain points, right? And I'm going to show you later on what I mean by that as well, when he talks with the girls, right? When they put him under pressure again. And so, you're going to hear him say something which is really interesting. Listen to this.
Tell me again.
Tressa.
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 Tressa. Tressa. You say it 3 times and you remember.
Tressa.
Never been married before.
Now, obviously, again, this is nothing too heavy. He's just having a conversation with Tressa, saying, obviously, got to remember your name. If I say it 3 times, you're going to remember it. Nothing like it's light, it's fun. It's nothing beefy about it. He's no problems with it. He's shaking her hand. It's nothing that's really deep about that. Now, it's what's going to happen after when he's little.
Don't have any children. I want to love a woman how I always want my mom to be loved.
Listen to what he said. I want to love a woman the way that my mom always wanted to be what? Loved. Let's repeat that. Let's make sure I heard it correctly. You know what I'm saying? Let's just make sure.
4, don't have any children. I want to love a woman how I always want my mom to be loved.
He said, I see, I want to love a woman the way that I always wanted my mom, the way that my mom always wanted to be loved. Do you understand? So now you are actually filling in some blanks. And what you're hearing here is that he's trying to almost reset history. And not say, and we all do it. Listen, we all do it. So this is not a beef. But it may contribute towards the way that he is moving, right? Because like I said, the feminine energy deals with the receptiveness of love, right? When as a man, you are a part of this giving of love. Don't mean we don't receive love. Please, we're not saying that you don't receive love, man. Them. Listen, that's not what we're saying at all. When we start saying that, that's how man them start moving mad. They need love too. But it's almost in a sense of the man is meant to be the head, the source, right? He's meant to be the giver. And so there is a level of stability of knowing of thyself, a level of comfortability that allows you to allow the feminine energy to rest with you. What the women are going to see when they see Chris is we are going to be fighting for affection. We're going to be fighting for emotions. We're going to be fighting for love. We're going to be fighting for a need for being cared for. And so when they see that, they're turned off because especially if they're really feminine, they're going to be turned off by Chris because he's presenting feminine energy. Again, feminine energy does not mean you're a female. Please get it through your head if you're listening to me. I'm not saying he's a female. Feminine energy does not mean he's a female. It's simply speaking about the ways that we operate and what energy we use at a particular time in order to announce ourselves, right? And so when he says, I want to show love, I want to talk about love that is like the way my mom was loved. Yes, but the way your mom will be loved is different. Men and women love the same but different. Do you know what I mean? And so, for instance, just taking to instance, how financial burdens are often residing upon the men. You know, as much as women say, yeah, equal this, equal that, they really want men who earn more than them. They really want men who handle the finances. They really want men who let's keep it honest. Let's keep it to the most basic. They really want men that are, you know, broad shoulders, and not necessarily broad in that, but in a sense of how they are protectors. You know, I'm lowering my voice because even that's one of them as well. The deeper voice, it donates, or at least it begins to speak and say, this person has protective vibes. They may not, but it's a sign that it potentially could be. Okay, it's a sign, like, you know what I mean? And so that was what I picked up on him, and then we picked up on a little bit later on as well on this conversation here that he has where they put him under pressure, right? They invite him over and they're going to put him on pressure, right?
Well, I did invite Christian over here because you're a very handsome man and a lot of women like oh, I like him, but he doesn't seem that assertive.
Now, obviously, there's a consensus. The women do like him, especially Venetia. And here's the thing about this competition, which is what happens like in school. Okay, if you've been in school, then you know this hierarchy. You know how it works. This is like school over again, but reset in a sense of now you can choose to be a little bit different because you now know yourself better. But the same rules apply. Who's got the most money? Who's the most good looking? Who's got the best body? Those things are the first things that get people to the top of the position in this particular competition. Now here, Venetia would like to go with Chris, okay? But because it's a competition, there are better men out there than him. And there's an opportunity for her to collect a better man. She will not give Chris the chance today. What I mean by that, if this was real life outside of this competition, I believe she would have given Chris a chance. But she would not have lasted long with him because his energy of non-boundaries, the way he behaves, would have turned her off. But in the long run, in the short run, she would have given him a chance. In the competition, she can't do that. But she has shown some interest by saying, he is a good-looking guy, he's cute, right? And when you watch her behavior at the very end of the show, when they kick Chris out, she feels really, really bad, right? Because he generally is a nice guy. But watch this.
Okay.
So we want to get to know a little bit more about you before we have to make that elimination determination.
Okay.
So
Tell us something about you. I want to know now.
You see, Venetia there in a sense that tell us something about you. I want to know now. Look, her pressure alone will put him on pause. Her pressure alone of saying this, I want to know about you now, will sound like, ooh, you'll put him shaking a little bit. But the truth of the matter is there are men like this who are actually much more quieter. Ladies, I want to make this very broad in general. Listen, don't be afraid to date this type of guy. I mean, to be honest, he probably needs to work a little bit more on his boundaries. But don't be afraid to date this type of guy. Because look, something that happens a lot in this society is people choose people so they can show them off. Not that they want to date them, they want to show them off. But if he's got qualities of a good man, he's kind-hearted, he's generous, he's loving towards you, then these are good essential qualities, right? Because nobody's perfect. I pointed out some things and flaws in him, but nobody's perfect, right? And it's not necessarily a glaring red flag that he's issued. I'm just saying why he got exited out of the competition. And so Venetia's interest at that moment shows you she's onto him. But it's the competition. It won't allow it. It's just like school over again. Certain man or certain girl won't like a certain man or certain girl because the consensus and the hierarchy wouldn't allow it. Do you know what I'm saying? Wouldn't allow it. Let's play a little bit more. Now let's watch Chris's behavior. They're gonna ask him questions.
Oh man, I'm a mailman by day, model on the side.
Okay. Christian does come across as a really sweet guy.
So now he's begun to explain about what he is. He's a mailman and also a model on the side. Okay. Now, like I said, where does your confidence come from? Your confidence comes from a trust that you have in something. What do you trust? And the thing is, this is why I said that self-confidence is a little bit of a really interesting thing, because we all get our validation from somewhere in terms of our confidence. Right? Some of us have got great jobs. Some of us got a great title to a job. Some of us have got our money and our paper that validates us. Some of us have got, have got our bodies on our face to give us confidence. Some of us have got our lavish lifestyle and finances and good dress sense, etc., etc. Some of us have got a great skill that naturally can come out when we're out amongst people. Some of us dance. Some of us are great singers. Whatever you choose to be your trusted confidence, that's what you're going to use to be able to stand upon, right? And so sometimes, depending on how you view what you have, you can actually devalue yourself, and then that makes you unconfident because you haven't valued it to stand upon. Right, the £20 or $20 bill is based upon a trust that whatever's making it have value, for instance, gold or for people, bonds and stuff like that. Whatever its value is dependent upon something that they trust. The money's worthless unless it's tied to something they trust. You know, and so the same way with your confidence is tied to something that you trust. There's a rock that gives you an impetus to stand upon and stand tall. Right? And maybe for him, it isn't the job per se. He's a mailman. Maybe that's why he maybe feel the way he did. But he's also gone through some certain things as well. Let's play.
But my desire to see him flourish did kind of come from like, oh, that's my homie, that's my brother. Like, let me look out for him.
And you notice, obviously, Kira obviously as well said, you know, the reason why she's even looking out for him, it's not because obviously that she fancies him. She's doing it out of a friendship vibe. Why? Because she spotted a grass snake to her, and the grass snake can't bite her. But she's a gamma woman, so she's willing to also help you. And that's what I got to respect about Kira as well. She's giving some pointers. My only thing is this: they put him right in the line of fire in front of everybody. This should have been an initial conversation. He'll probably tell you to your face it was okay, but this should have been a conversation quietly, one-to-one with him, and said, oh, look, you know, Chris, like, you know, look, the ladies like you, but you just need to be a little bit more assertive, right? That would have empowered him to go out there and maybe be a little bit more assertive. But when you say it in front of everybody, and I say everybody, the group, a few people, all right, the women and the men, what happens is now you're under an elite pressure. And sometimes people can't stand up to that pressure. It can be very, very difficult to. And so now he's struggling to swim because the waters are deep and he hasn't had time to swim in some uncharted waters before. The waves are coming at him. The wind is gusting. My man's he's going to drown in a second, right? So this should have been a private conversation because he's being told that he needs to be more assertive in front of two other men who are miles ahead of him, and then in front of Kyra himself and also Venetia as well. That's why Stacey left. Stacey's not about that life. Stacey's like, I'm not going to sit here and wait for you to tell him that. I'm not going to do it.
And not from a like intimate space of us getting together.
Yeah, I go fishing, you know. Y'all got me on the spot. I took notes. And
Notice Joe. Joe, look at Joe. Joe's out here going, wow, but it's peak. He's rubbing his eyebrow to let you know this is really, really peak. Look at Kyra. Kyra's got her arms folded, right? Oh no, it's peak right now, right? It's interesting because look, even having that in itself tells me everything I need to know. Like Kyra was not that she wasn't relaxed, but it was like, it's peak, man. She folded her arms. Oh, Joel's there too, bending low as well and rubbing his eyebrow. It's peak because he's flopping, right? He said, oh, you guys really got me on a ropes thing. Yeah, they got him on ropes, bro. They got him on ropes. They got him on real big ropes right now. And so unfortunately, he's unable to convert at the moment, right? He's unable to be able to express in the way that they were telling him to express. And what's going to happen next is even worse. What's going to happen next is even worse. It's going to kill off his game. Because one thing that women will struggle to like another man for is when other men don't respect that man. Right? Because a lot of women will buy into social proofing. If men can't respect you, why would I respect you? Yeah? So what's going to happen soon in a second? You're going to see it in a second.
Tried to be more assertive, but I feel like it was too late. I think they had already made up their mind.
You got kids?
No, that's it. I don't have any kids, no. I want one more.
And so he's really said obviously about the women have already made up their mind, et cetera, et cetera. What he could have done to reduce the heat would have been like, listen, Venetia, listen, I think we're having a really good conversation. Let's go, let's have a conversation, let's have a little talk. Should have been polite enough. I'm sure she would have gone with you, and that would have maybe allowed you to calm your nerves a little bit as well, and just bring you back into alignment. Also, it's a show of leadership. Like, hey, look, do you know what? My bad. Look, like, okay, cool. No, don't worry about these guys. Listen, let's go and have a conversation. Let's have a little talk. But again, he's not assertive, so he wouldn't do that. He's not assertive. He wouldn't do that. He would do. And so you see that how Kyra told him, come here, sit here, She told him what to do. Can she do that to anybody else? You think you're going to call me over and then come and explain myself? I'm like, listen, let's have a one-to-one conversation because I'm not about to explain myself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't call me over to explain myself, like in front of the group. No. Sorry, love. Listen. And the thing is, the woman wouldn't think to do that anyway because the type of male that I am or other males are. She would have never called Joe. She would have never called Diedrich that either because there's a level of respect for his manhood. She just wouldn't do it. But because she sees him like a little soft cub and sees him like unfortunately sees him a bit soft, she decided to do that. Even though it was a goodwill gesture, it actually spoke more about how she saw him. Right? And so now he's having this conversation. Look at what's going to happen.
You don't have none.
No, one kid, excuse me.
I just tried to hope for the best after that.
As a man, like, you got to set the tone.
Well, this
Boom. So now here, unfortunately, now he's getting ragged on. Right? At that moment, he's now getting ragged on because you see how he entered that, how he was trying to explain himself. Now other guys are like, as a guy, you gotta be able to set the tone. They're using you now as a stepladder. They're using you now as a stepping stone. Because now they can win some points by, look, as a guy, you gotta set the tone. Like that basically says you don't set the tone, but I do. That's a finisher. That is a finisher.
speaking from experience.
And then Venetia obviously then says, speaking from experience, now he's done. The competition is done. But listen, no beef. Again, like I said, this is what happens in competition fields. This doesn't always happen in relationship out there in the big bad world, but it's an image of what does take place, I guess, subconsciously, right? And so, unfortunately, in this competition, he's just not fit for purpose. And so, there's probably one or two more clips I can show you guys of why I feel like he had to go. I've gone on even long. I've gone on for 30 minutes. I hope you guys are obviously understanding what I'm coming from. But it's just this for me. I just felt like obviously, unfortunately, he just didn't do enough. Right? He wasn't able to do enough. He got friend zoned by Kyra as well, and she's helping him out. That's tell you everything you need to know. But let me go to the part. Want to go? Let's go to here. Okay, let's go to here where they're talking. Okay, let's go to here. All right, cool. This is where he took Kyra 1-to-1, right? I want you to pay attention to what happens here. This is really, really funny. It's the last clip we're going to show now. Last two clips. This is really, really funny what happens here. Just watch this.
That I had heard just so that you had a fair chance.
Yeah, you opened me up, though.
And
Listen to what he said. He said, you really, really opened me up, though. What he meant to say is that you kind of shot me down. You kind of shot me down because actually you put me in front of a firing line and firing squad and I couldn't swim. Like, you don't throw a kid into the deep end not knowing if they can swim and go, I hope you can swim. Like, as much as Carol was actually helping, she actually killed the man. She actually killed the man. She actually caused the man not to be able to complete the mission. And maybe has she not highlighted things in front of people, maybe he might not have been gone. More than likely not. But, you know, that's why he picked up on it and said, obviously, yeah, what he said. Let's compare it.
You know,
But-
put a little fire in
But I
there.
didn't talk to you and see what you want. Like, you know, that
Pause. Look what she did. No, Kira's bad. Kira's bad. You know, I love people, right? Because they're funny thing. He said, "Aussie, why not? Why can't I talk to you though like that?" You know what I'm saying? She was like, "I'm in." Her whole voice changed. She's not on it, cuz. She's not on it, cuz. I'm so sorry, bro. No beef. She's just not on it. But she shows straight away body language. Oh yeah. Listen, you are about to be the best friend ever because you are a grass snake. You don't have fangs that are poisonous. When you bite, they don't feel. So they can keep people like him around because they don't have a bark just yet. You know what I'm saying?
I feel good right now. I'm feeling confident.
I'm gonna go get some water.
Pause. Now she said, obviously, I'm gonna go and get some water. And she was about to say, do you want some? Right? And so this is really interesting because obviously, again, you know, she's taking an assertive lead in this role. She's not expecting him to get one because she doesn't feel him like that. So she's not expecting this particular servitude from him because she doesn't expect him. She doesn't want him like that. So she's not at beef with this, right? But watch what Chris is gonna try and do, right? Good.
You like something?
Yeah, I'll take some water. Oh, no, let me get that for you. Because, you know, that's what the man's supposed to do.
Look at that. You learn
I'm trying
quick.
to learn, man. You know what I'm saying?
I think
I'm telling you, listen. I'm not saying to build a man. No. I'm not saying, ladies, I'm not saying to build a man. We don't want to build a man here. We don't do Build-A-Bears competition here. What I'm saying to you is that he actually is a sweet guy. You know, and maybe with some coaching, he will be an amazing guy. But again, this is a competition for a type of people, and unfortunately he doesn't fit the build or the mold for that. So, you know, I love the fact that he said obviously go and find it. Watch how he gets nervous even when he comes back. Like, it's so funny. Like, look at this.
Sparkling drink. Oh, yes, sparkling water.
my way hasn't worked. Hopefully this one does. I'm ready for that.
Is this wrong? She went over there? Oh, snap.
Every second my man is like he's always nervous, bro. So I think the girls picked up on that nervous energy, and unfortunately that wasn't for them. But I want to show you one last clip because you know what, women are interesting and women are funny. I can't believe I've gone on 40 minutes just talking about Christian because I really wasn't trying to go that long. But what's really interesting about
Christian.
I want you to pay attention to this. Yo, this is the funniest clip on the thing, bro. All right, look at this. You heard them, first of all, you heard an audio. Look at Venetia on your right-hand side. Venetia right now, head down, feels guilty because he's a really nice guy. And actually, like I said, she probably would have dated him for a short while in the outer world, but in this, no. Now, look at, obviously, on the left-hand side, on our left-hand side, but on his right-hand side, look at Tressa. She's now looking at Venetia like, girl, you know you voted for him. You know you voted for him to go out. I don't know why you're making that face and going all down and right? Look at Kyra behind at the very beginning. She's struggling not to laugh. Kyra's at the back there struggling not to laugh, bro. Listen, Kyra's at the back there trying not to laugh. Her lip is almost quivering as she tries not to laugh because they know what they voted. They know exactly what they voted. Look at this. Look at Kyra's face. Look at Kyra's face. Look at Venetia. She just feels so guilty for sending him home because he generally is a nice guy. And like I said, she would be open to it. But because of competition, she couldn't choose Christian. It's that simple, right? She might, or maybe she did vote for him. Maybe she voted to keep him in and he didn't stay in. You know what I'm saying? But look how bad she feels. Tressa's still looking at Venetia. Look at the look of Venetia's face. Look at the look of Venetia's face.
It felt like somebody had punched me right in the stomach.
Venetia's face was like a little kid that was like, yo, I've done bad, I've done naughty. Look, man, really shout out to Christian. Listen, I think he's a great guy. Really wanting to just take some time out, no beef. You know, don't worry about that. You know, enjoy yourself. Come back stronger. You know, and hopefully, you know, it'll work out for you as well in the future. So, yeah, guys, stay hydrated. I didn't mean to go for this long, but we wanted to break everything down. So, I appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. Stay hydrated.